Once again, Meghan Markle is in the headlines, but not for the reasons she might have hoped. This time, it's not about a new charity venture or a sleek red carpet appearance. No, this latest wave of attention hit like a tidal wave, and not the flattering kind. It all traces back to a single Instagram video that was clearly meant to be her big moment. Instead, it set off a chain reaction she definitely didn't plan for. What started as a quirky attempt at relatability quickly snowballed into a PR disaster. Studios are backing off, longtime fans are walking away, and industry insiders are reportedly scrambling. Whatever remained of Meghan's Hollywood momentum is now teetering on the edge. Critics are calling it a betrayal, not just of the public's trust, but of Prince Harry's family legacy. That betrayal? According to many, it's not just bad taste. It's outright unforgivable. Former palace staff are even speaking out again, including a personal assistant who allegedly broke down in tears repeatedly due to Meghan's treatment. And if Meghan believes that's not true, well, she's more than welcome to file a lawsuit. Because people are openly saying it now, let's rewind for a moment. Meghan shared a video she hoped would land as a sweet, empowering message about motherhood. At least that's how she framed it. She wanted to show a playful side, maybe even win back some public support. But instead of coming across as genuine, the video gave off an awkward, overly scripted vibe. There were forced dance moves, weird energy, and what looked like a noticeable baby bump that only raised more questions. Instead of inspiring empathy or laughs, people were confused, and some were outright uncomfortable. Social media lit up, and not in her favor. And the backlash didn't just come from the usual online critics. It reached the very top of the entertainment world. Executives at Netflix and Paramount, two of the biggest platforms Meghan's worked with, started hitting the panic button. Netflix, where her docuseries Live to Lead had premiered, found itself in a PR mess. Greg Peters, the CEO, reportedly wasn't amused. Word is, he pushed back hard. Even Ted Sarandos, who's typically one of Meghan's more loyal defenders, was starting to question her value to the platform. At a certain point, support becomes risk, and no one wants to be left holding the bag. Paramount, on the other hand, didn't hesitate. They cut ties fast. Other companies started backing away too, not with dramatic announcements, but with quiet silence and canceled calls. It's the kind of subtle retreat that says a lot without saying anything at all. After all the buzz and excitement she once commanded, it's starting to look like the spell is broken. The reality is, this video didn't just miss the mark. It drove home a point that's been gaining traction for a while now. Meghan Markle's brand isn't seen as glamorous or aspirational anymore. It's seen as risky. And rather than laying low, Meghan responded head-on. In the thick of the backlash, she put out a statement explaining her intent. According to her, the video was meant to prove she could be both a public figure and a loving, capable mother, especially to those who've doubted her parenting from day one. Stick around, because there's more where this came from, and things are only getting messier. While you're here, don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and tap the notification bell. Trust me, you'll want updates as this train keeps rolling.
Did you notice how bumpy and uneven Princess Meghan's baby bump looks? Harry instructed her to provoke Charles. Meghan has long lost her fertility, and this is a video taken before Meghan gave birth to Lilibet. She did 3 spine-chilling things. First, she stared in a certain direction. After getting permission, she started dancing. Her movements were small at first, then she looked in that same direction again, and her movements became more intense. Second, her belly nearly fell off. She raised her arms and twisted her body. She even started doing Shakira's famous hip-shaking dance, lifting both feet off the ground. Realizing her belly was slipping, she quickly held it in place again. Third, Harry stepped out of the frame. He showed no concern that Meghan might hurt the baby in her belly. This video was released by Meghan to celebrate Lilibet's 4th birthday, but it only further fuels the rumors that she faked her pregnancy. After all, when she's pregnant with Archie, people noticed her bump could be compressed at will, and her accomplice was undoubtedly Harry. Now, Harry deliberately made this video public with one goal. He wants to change his and the children's last name to Diana's family name, Spencer. He doesn't care if it brings shame to the British royal family. And to this day, the royals still refuse to issue passports for his children. What's surprising is that Meghan is actually willing to sacrifice herself for Harry.
She still has something to say and deserves to be heard. Fair enough. But just saying it with confidence doesn't mean people will buy it. Online, people didn't see a strong, relatable mom. They saw someone trying way too hard to be quirky and deep at the same time, and it flopped hard. Even longtime supporters were left confused, asking themselves, wait, this is what we've been defending? Meanwhile, Live to Lead Season 2 is apparently hanging by a thread. Test screenings reportedly bombed. Not just May, but straight up unwatchable, according to some. Netflix is sweating because even Meghan's core audience doesn't seem to care anymore. She might still believe she's here to teach the world something, but the world, it's kinda over the lecture. The strangest part of this whole thing is how Meghan seems to view herself as the misunderstood heroine in some emotional coming-of-age arc. In her latest comments, she framed the pregnancy video as a message to all parents, a public service basically. She said things like, "Motherhood is powerful," and claimed too many people lose their joy and humor after having kids. So, naturally, she decided she would be the face of fun parenting in a world full of grumpy adults. Okay, sure. She even added a weird, dramatic anecdote about how none of her mom friends ever said, "Wow, this is exactly what I expected. I'm crushing it. No changes needed. My baby just seamlessly fit into my life." Noble idea, if it had landed the way she hoped, but it didn't. Instead of making parents feel seen, it made them feel patronized. Instead of being inspiring, it came off as self-centered. And instead of lighthearted, it felt painfully tone-deaf. The real issue, Meghan doesn't seem to realize her audience isn't looking for overproduced Instagram sermons. They're not into vague life advice dressed up as relatable content. And they're definitely not here for someone living in a mansion pretending to be just another exhausted mom figuring it out like the rest of us. The disconnect is obvious, and it's not just fans who feel it. Behind closed doors, Netflix is apparently in panic mode. Greg Peters is reportedly furious and pushing hard to distance the brand from Meghan entirely. But the roadblock? Ted Sarandos. He's been way more forgiving, for reasons no one really understands. Still, even he's starting to cave under the pressure. Word is, the board is split. Some want to cancel Season 2 immediately, others are holding out hope for some miraculous comeback. Spoiler alert, it's not coming.
I do not know Meghan Markle. I don't have an opinion. They're famous people. They live in LA. They're rich. I don't know them. So why, as a normal person, why do people think that her bump is fake? It's weird. It's weird. Everyone's bumps are different. I'm fat. When I was pregnant, I barely even looked like I was pregnant. So was I faking it? I do not understand. People are just weird.
Word is, Meghan's scrambling behind the scenes. She's been pitching new ideas to networks like MTV and Disney, hoping someone will take a gamble on her next big move. A year ago, maybe that would have worked. But now, after everything that's gone down, most execs are dodging her calls. She's gone from being a buzzy media figure to a full-blown professional liability. And the industry knows it. And it's not just Hollywood pulling away. Her fans are bailing fast. We're not talking about a handful of haters either. These are people who used to repost her interviews, hype her up in comment sections, and defend her like it was a full-time job. Now, they're deleting their support, unfollowing, and walking away without a word. When even your loyal base starts ghosting you, no PR spin in the world can fix that. On social media, it's all going downhill. The comments that once overflowed with heart emojis and Yas Queen energy are now full of people calling her out, accusing her of being fake, preachy, or completely out of touch. And then there's the elephant in the room, the baby bump. That video stirred up more questions than applause. People noticed how the shape shifted, how it sat differently from one frame to the next, and how the whole thing felt off. Theories exploded online. Was it real? Was it staged? Whatever the truth is, it didn't help her. If anything, it made people uncomfortable. And once folks start doubting your honesty, the fallout is fast and brutal. Still, Meghan keeps saying this is her truth, her way of expressing herself, and she won't be silenced. But let's be honest, no one's silencing her. They just don't want to listen anymore. That's not censorship. That's apathy. And right now, people are tuning her out in droves. But Meghan isn't slowing down. If anything, she's doubling down. Recently, she released a solo podcast-style rant. No host, no interviewer, just Meghan talking into a mic for almost an hour. At one point, she even started referring to herself in the third person. "The world hasn't seen the real Meghan yet," she declared, like she was the lead in her own Netflix drama. That's when the narcissism alarms really started going off. Instead of showing any humility or self-awareness, she leaned all the way into her "I'm right, everyone else just doesn't understand" narrative. She actually claimed it's her mission to teach people how to raise their kids, like she's parenting's moral compass. From a woman with a full-time nanny team, media consultants, and a mansion with gates, that message doesn't exactly scream relatable. It didn't sound like someone trying to help. It sounded like someone trying to cling to relevance, and somehow, the situation keeps getting worse.
You know what's so crazy about the UK is that ordinary nyash that Meghan Sussex was shaking is what's making everybody in the UK mad. Not the government not prioritizing the citizens, not the NHS literally falling on its knees, not the fact that real companies are charging extortionate prices for everyone and nobody's batting an eye to these things. But it's Meghan shaking yash with her husband in the hospital that is getting everybody mad. You see, when we say that people don't think critically, it's these things that there's way more things that we could be focused on. But no, a woman that's enjoying herself with her family is what's making everybody spiral out. I'm seeing people saying, "Oh, she's a disgrace. This is that." The government is not a disgrace. The real companies are not a disgrace. Like, what are we actually doing to ourselves, yo? It's like every single time in this country, we keep prioritizing the wrong things. Like, it makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever for you to say that somebody is a disgrace just because she's literally dancing and having fun with her husband. Like, let's be sensible.
Now, here's where it gets even messier. The behind-the-scenes tension with Netflix. Meghan is reportedly pressuring co-CEO Ted Sarandos to greenlight a third season of With Love Meghan, even though the second season hasn't even aired yet and is already raising red flags. Sources say she's pulling every string she can to keep the show alive. Whatever leverage she's using, people are starting to wonder if there's more to her connection with Sarandos than just business. Nothing confirmed, but the rumors are flying. Meanwhile, Greg Peters, the other half of Netflix's leadership, is reportedly done entertaining this circus. Internally, he's been pushing the board to cut their losses. And honestly, from a business standpoint, that tracks. Word is, test screenings for Season 2 were a disaster. Viewers called the episodes hollow, self-indulgent, and tone-deaf. Even Meghan's loyal fans didn't seem impressed. For a platform like Netflix, continuing to pour money into a show that can't hold on to its base is a huge red flag. Now Netflix is stuck in an uncomfortable spot, torn between loyalty, optics, and just plain common sense. And while the boardroom drama plays out, Meghan's image outside those walls is tanking fast. Late-night hosts have started turning her into a punchline. Online commentary? Ruthless. Even the media outlets that once backed her to the end are backing away. When the people who used to defend you start treating you like tabloid material, that's not a rough patch. It's the beginning of a long fall. The saddest part? Meghan still seems to think this is all part of her comeback arc. She's moving like the world is just being unfair, and that with time, the narrative will shift in her favor.
So the video of Meghan and Harry dancing while she's waiting to give birth does get a reference in Spare. Check this out. In chapter 87, he says, "We drove calmly, sanely to the hospital, where our bodyguards once again fed us. This time they bought burgers and fries from In-N-Out and fajitas from the local Mexican restaurant for Meg. We ate and ate and then did the baby mama dance around the hospital room. Nothing but joy and love in that room." That's a nice little shout out for the fans, I think.
But in reality, the more she speaks, the more damage she does. There's no master plan unfolding, no redemption arc building momentum. What we're seeing is a slow public unraveling of someone who refuses to read the room. And that brings us to With Love Meghan Season 2. It's creeping toward release with zero buzz, no visible promotion, and what feels like hesitant energy from Netflix, like they're quietly bracing for backlash. Word is, Meghan poured her heart into this season, hoping to reintroduce herself. But let's be real, if the reaction to her viral video is any clue, no amount of rebranding is going to rewrite public opinion. Sometimes, when the audience moves on, they really move on. And right now, Meghan Markle is yelling into a void no one's even looking at anymore. Sometimes, when the audience moves on, they really move on. And right now, Meghan Markle is yelling into a void no one's even looking at anymore. But what do you think? Is this a fall from grace, or just a messy mid-season twist in her story? Let me know in the comments, and if you're into deep dives like this, don't forget to hit subscribe and stick around. We've got plenty more to unpack.